Catastrophizing is a powerful way to make yourself anxious and depressed and can really hold you back. Oh yeah, and I'm going to teach you 3 simple approaches to replace it with something healthier. So let's explore that. This video is part of my intensive course on rewiring the anxious brain. It's on Udemy, so if you want to learn more, check that out. A man was driving along a dark country road very late one night. There was a loud bang followed by the thump, thump, thump of a flat tire. He gets out of the car, opens the trunk, pulls out the spare tire and the lug wrench, but with a sinking feeling realizes his jack is missing. He checks his phone but has no reception, so he's stuck. As he's wondering what to do, he sees a porch light far down the road and he decides to walk over and ask the farmer if he could borrow a jack. The walk was long and dark and he starts imagining what will happen when he reaches the farmhouse. The farmer will probably already be in bed. He may be cranky about being woken up. But because he has no other options, he keeps walking, and other thoughts come to him. What if the farmer doesn't have a jack? Farmers have guns. What if he pulls that out? That farmer will probably set a dog on me. What if the farmer realizes I'm alone and robs me? At this point, the man is scared but also getting angry. He knows that farmer might be a jerk, but he still needs his jack. So he walks up to the front door, knocks, and an upstairs light comes on. While waiting, he imagines a red-faced, bug-eyed farmer wrenching open that door. The door swings open and the man says, "Can I help you?" And the stranded man shouts, "I don't want your dang jack anyway," then storms away, slamming the door shut. So, what is catastrophizing? It's a common cognitive distortion or thinking error when we think of a current or future situation as a catastrophe. For example, you worry about failing a test, then imagine what happens when you do, failing out of school, working at McDonald's, never finding success, and ending up homeless. Catastrophizing is imagining the worst. It's taking a tough situation and interpreting it as being horrible, terrible, and unrecoverable. We all know someone who, if they get a B on a test, wailed, "I'm failing math," or a parent who, when we don't want to do chores, might say, "If you don't do your chores, your college roommates will hate you, and no one will want to marry you." Though not exactly how my mum said it. Like in the story about the jack, catastrophizing often starts with genuine setbacks like a flat tire or a failed test. But then the thinking error twists reality into belief that something horrible is bound to happen. That man's thoughts about getting shot, attacked, or robbed show how catastrophizing transforms a real problem into a perceived catastrophe. At its root, catastrophizing is about our habitual response to challenges or setbacks. Pause for a moment, ask yourself, how do you think about failure? When these habits become a pattern, they can lead to depression or anxiety, and people often believe they'll never recover. Some common examples include someone with anxiety imagining losing control of themselves, predicting a panic attack at the mall, and believing it to be a catastrophe instead of just being uncomfortable. Others envision themselves being depressed forever, or a teen who equates mild social rejection with complete social shunning. How does catastrophizing mess us up? We've all faced setbacks like rejection or failure, but many trick ourselves into thinking that expecting the worst will prevent it. In reality, it often invites the very problems we're afraid of. Think about the man with the jack because he feared rejection. He shut himself off from the help he needed. Expecting the worst invites the worst. If you go into a conversation expecting someone to get defensive, you may act harsher, prompting that response. If you fear rejection from a crush and don't ask them out, you end up alone, just what you were trying to avoid. Catastrophizing also invites depression. When we imagine a bleak, hopeless future, our brain responds by producing less serotonin and dopamine, the chemicals that give us happiness, pleasure, and motivation. Why try when everything seems doomed? This creates a cycle of withdrawal, lack of motivation, and hopelessness. It also fuels anxiety. Seeing threats everywhere causes your fight or flight response to activate, contributing to social anxiety, panic attacks, and ongoing fear. Expecting the worst makes us hopeless, unmotivated, and often stuck in self-pity, closing us off from chances to grow. If catastrophizing is so harmful, why do we keep doing it? I want to pause here because some of you might think, why am I such an idiot? I'm broken. Take a breath, you're not defective. You're doing something unhelpful, but that doesn't mean you're bad or broken. You can change. Practice some kindness to yourself. Change takes effort, but you can do hard things. Now, why do we catastrophize? It serves 2 dysfunctional functions. First, it acts as a coping strategy, preparing us for the worst, keeps us from feeling risk or uncertainty. If I expect to fail, I won't be disappointed if I do. If I reject myself first, I don't have to worry about someone else rejecting me. It's a way to avoid painful feelings, but trying not to feel often makes us more anxious and depressed. Additionally, it justifies not trying at all. If I expect failure, I can avoid effort altogether. It's easier short-term, but destroys the joy of life long-term. You're not risking failure, but you also aren't allowing yourself to succeed. Second, many believe that fear is the best motivator. Like parents saying, if you don't go to school, you'll ruin your life, which might get a child out of bed, but leaves her worrying about being a failure for the rest of the day. Over time, this fear-based motivation becomes exhausting, increasing anxiety and decreasing motivation. So let's explore more functional ways to deal with catastrophizing. Start by ensuring you get enough sleep when you're sleep deprived, your sensitivity to threats heightens, and your resilience drops. Being well rested helps you face challenges bravely. Next, accept uncertainty as a natural part of life. Instead of labeling anxiety as bad or harmful, say, "This is uncomfortable, but it won't hurt me. I can do hard things." Embrace acceptable risks and the anxiety that comes with them. Build emotional strength by practicing mindfulness meditation or doing something that scares you regularly. Finally, motivate yourself based on your values and hopes rather than fear. Instead of saying, "I need to go to school so I don't end up homeless," reframe it as, "I choose to go to school because I want to become a therapist," or whatever your bigger goal may be. Break that down into small, achievable steps and work toward them bravely. Here's a classic CBT method for ending catastrophizing. First, notice when you're catastrophizing. Pay attention to the words you use, like never, terrible, failure, or rejected. Write down the situations that tend to trigger it, and ask someone you trust to help point it out. Second, challenge these thoughts just because you think something isn't true. Question them gently, don't beat yourself up. Remember, thoughts are not facts. Let them pass like leaves on a stream, a skill from acceptance and commitment therapy. Third, replace those thoughts with honest, helpful ones. Think about other outcomes. What's a positive or neutral possibility? Even if something bad happens, you can learn from it. It's not the end of the world. For example, instead of, "I'm an idiot for making that mistake," reframe as, "Everyone makes mistakes, I can fix this, ask for help if needed, and learn to do better." Or instead of, "He'll leave me if I say that," try, "I'll apologize and learn from this and maybe he'll understand." This approach requires engagement and vulnerability. It's about risking failure and embracing success, knowing that you are capable, that growth often stems from discomfort. Use acceptance and commitment therapy principles, getting better at feeling, opening yourself up to all emotions, and living authentically aligned with your values helps you face life with courage. When you accept the risks, you invite good things to come your way. Subscribe to Health Clips Daily for more quick, reliable health insights. Take care.